stop eating. Right now. That sandwich in your hand? The one you just paid good money for? The one that smells so good and looks so fresh? It could kill you. And I'm about to prove it, while showing you exactly how to beat these chains at their own game. Here's a question that should terrify you. What do you call meat that contains no DNA from the animal it's supposed to be? At Subway, they call it tuna. Multiple lab tests, independent, scientific, peer-reviewed lab tests. Couldn't find a single strand of tuna DNA in Subway's tuna sandwiches. I repeat, 0 tuna DNA. So what exactly are you eating when you order tuna at Subway? Even Subway's lawyers won't answer that question. But here's what really happened when I dug deeper. A former employee from Michigan, let's call her Sarah, sent me a video that still gives me nightmares. Chicken strips that looked like wet paper towels. Translucent, slimy, barely holding together. We used to joke about it, Sarah told me. We called it ghost chicken because we weren't sure it was ever alive. The bread. Ireland's Supreme Court ruled that it contains way too much sugar to legally be called as bread. You're eating cake with mystery protein on top. But here's what Subway is desperately trying to hide from you. There's one item on their menu that sidesteps this entire disaster. One option that forces them to use real ingredients because they can't fake what you're about to discover. The Veggie Delight. I know what you're thinking. Boring, rabbit food, not filling. You're wrong. Here's why this works. Vegetables can't be injected with 40 different preservatives. They can't be enhanced with artificial flavors. They can't be processed beyond recognition. They either look fresh or they don't. And if they don't look fresh, you'll see it immediately. Load it with spinach, not iceberg lettuce, spinach, tomatoes, cucumbers, green peppers, red onions, and avocado. Skip their processed cheese product and go for olive oil and vinegar. But here's the secret that will change everything. Ask them to toast the bread before they add the vegetables. This kills any bacteria lurking in that sugar bread while keeping your vegetables crisp and fresh. Sarah told me something that shocked me. Every employee I knew ate the Veggie Delight during breaks. We knew what went into the meat. The vegetables were the only thing we trusted. Value? You'll pay significantly less than their premium meat sandwiches and get actual food instead of mystery ingredients. You're getting more nutrition for less money and zero risk of eating something that might not even be the animal it claims to be. Jimmy John's has a slogan, freaky fast. But the freaky part isn't the speed. It's what they're willing to do to achieve that speed. Picture this. It's 10 a.m. The lunch rush won't start for 2 hours. But Jimmy John's employees are already making hundreds of sandwiches, wrapping them in paper and stacking them on counters. Room temperature, no refrigeration, just sitting there, waiting. By the time you order at noon, that sandwich has been sitting in the danger zone for over 2 hours. The meat has been warming up. The vegetables have been wilting. The bacteria have been multiplying. But there's something else. Jimmy John's never, and I mean never, heats their sandwiches. That means if the meat is contaminated, there's no kill step, no safety net, no second chance. You're eating everything raw, including the risk. A delivery driver named Marcus told me something that made my stomach turn. During busy periods, sandwiches would sit in hot cars for over an hour before delivery. No ice packs, no temperature control. Just hope that bacteria doesn't multiply faster than we can drive. But here's where Jimmy John's accidentally created something brilliant. The unwich. This is genius, disguised as a gimmick. They take any sandwich and wrap it in lettuce instead of bread. Why does this work? Because lettuce can't hide anything. If it's brown, you'll see it. If it's slimy, you'll feel it. If it's fresh, it'll actually taste fresh. Order the Turkey Tom Unwich. Turkey is their least processed meat, and when it's wrapped in fresh lettuce, you can actually taste what you're eating instead of sugar bread and preservatives. Here's the insider trick. Ask them to make it fresh. Don't take one from the pre-made pile. Most locations will accommodate this, especially during slower periods. The lettuce wrap forces them to use their freshest lettuce. They can't hide wilted leaves inside bread. And without the bread, you're avoiding the preservatives, excess sodium, and whatever else they pump into those rolls. Marcus revealed something that should be their marketing slogan. Unwitches were the only thing I'd eat from Jimmy John's. Everything else sat around too long, but the lettuce wraps had to be made fresh. Value? Same price as their regular sandwiches. But you're getting actual nutrition instead of processed mystery meat on sugar bread. More protein, more vegetables, fewer chemicals. Quiznos built their entire brand on one promise: toasted sandwiches. But sometimes, toasting is just a way to hide the evidence. Years of financial struggles have created what employees call the use everything mentality. When meat starts smelling off, they toast it extra long to cook out the funk. When vegetables start wilting, they bury them under cheese and hope the heat masks the decay. When bread goes stale, they toast it until it's crispy enough to hide the staleness. But here's the most disturbing revelation. A former manager named David told me something that still haunts me. We'd take returned sandwiches, even partially eaten ones, and recycle the unused portions into new orders. Read that again. They're serving you other people's leftovers. But there's one menu item where this toasting process actually works in your favor: the veggie guacamole sub. Here's why this is brilliant. Vegetables actually improve when toasted. The heat kills potential bacteria, caramelizes natural sugars, and creates flavors you can't get anywhere else. Order it on honey wheat bread, their least processed option. Load it with mushrooms, green peppers, onions, tomatoes, and lettuce. The key ingredient: guacamole, real avocado that provides healthy fats and protein. And it's nearly impossible to fake or process heavily. Ask for light cheese and heavy vegetables. The toasting process will make the vegetables taste better while eliminating potential contamination. Here's the secret. Veggie subs are made to order because they don't pre-make them like meat sandwiches. That means fresh assembly every time. David revealed the truth. We couldn't recycle vegetables like we could with meat. They either looked good or they didn't. Value? Significantly cheaper than their meat options. And infinitely safer. You're paying less for food that's actually made fresh instead of reheated leftovers. If you're already questioning every sandwich you've ever eaten, obliterate that like button and subscribe. Because what I'm about to reveal about the next 4 chains will make you want to burn your loyalty cards and never trust fast food marketing again. We're talking about meat with over 40 ingredients, salads that are cleaner than sandwiches, and one chain where the healthiest option is hiding in plain sight. Chain number 7 has a secret that will completely change how you think about fast food. You cannot miss this. We have the meats. That's Arby's slogan. But what kind of meats are we talking about? Their famous roast beef? The foundation of their entire empire isn't carved from a roast. It arrives as a processed loaf that gets heated in a plastic bag. One employee called it meat jello. The ingredient list contains over 40 items, including beef flavor. Think about that for a moment. If you need to add beef flavor to beef, is it really beef? But it gets worse. During slow periods, employees add water to the warming trays to prevent the meat from turning into jerky. You're paying premium prices for diluted mystery meat. When the roast beef starts smelling off, they slice it thinner and drown it in sauce to mask the odor. A health inspector found raw chicken stored above the roast beef, with juices dripping down onto the meat that would be served to customers. The store's response? We'll move the chicken. But here's what shocked me most. Buried in Arby's menu, hidden in a section most people ignore, is something that actually lives up to their marketing. The market fresh turkey and Swiss wrap. Wait, Arby's has wraps? Yes. And they're hiding in the market fresh section that most people walk right past. Here's why this works. The turkey in these wraps is actually sliced turkey breast, not processed loaf. The wrap is made fresh to order, not pre-assembled and left sitting. The vegetables are the same ones they use for salads, which means they're held to higher standards than their sandwich vegetables. Ask for extra lettuce, tomatoes, and red onions. Skip the mayo and ask for mustard. It's less processed and adds flavor without the preservatives. The Swiss cheese is real cheese, not processed cheese product. And the whole thing is wrapped fresh in front of you. Here's the secret. Arby's Market. Fresh line was designed to compete with healthier fast casual chains. That means higher quality ingredients and fresher preparation. A former employee revealed something crucial. Market fresh items had completely different suppliers than our regular menu. Better ingredients, stricter standards. Value, comparable to their roast beef sandwiches, but with actual identifiable ingredients instead of processed loaf. You're getting real turkey, real cheese, and fresh vegetables for the same investment. Panera sells itself as the healthy alternative. Clean eating, artisanal quality, wholesome choices. It's all a lie. That famous broccoli cheddar soup? It arrives frozen in plastic bags and gets reheated in hot water. It's been in that bag longer than some relationships last. The fresh-baked bread is par-baked at a central facility and reheated in store. You're paying artisanal prices for industrial reheating. When bread goes stale, they don't throw it away. They spray it with water, rebake it, and call it artisanal. But here's what made me lose faith in everything. When customers complain about moldy bread, managers offer free pastries and ask them not to post about it online. That's not customer service, that's hush money with a croissant. But there's one menu category where Panera actually delivers on their promises. The Power Bowls. These are Panera's best kept secret and their cleanest option. Why? Because bowls can't hide anything. Every ingredient is visible, nothing is processed beyond recognition, and they're assembled fresh to order. Try the Mediterranean bowl. Quinoa, feta, cucumbers, tomatoes, red onions, and olive oil dressing. Real ingredients you can identify and pronounce. Or the Baja Bowl. Brown rice, black beans, avocado, salsa, and Greek yogurt. Actual whole foods with minimal processing. Here's why these work. Bowls require fresh assembly. They can't pre-make them and let them sit like sandwiches. The ingredients have to look good because they're not hidden inside bread. A former manager revealed something telling. Power Bowls had the lowest complaint rate of any menu item. Hard to mess up rice and vegetables. Value? Comparable to their sandwich combos, but with actual nutritional value instead of reheated soup and stale bread. You're getting whole grains, real vegetables, and legitimate protein sources. Potbelly markets itself as your neighborhood sandwich shop. Vintage charm, live music, sandwiches made with love. But love doesn't prevent food poisoning. When meat looks questionable, employees bury it under cheese and vegetables, then toast everything until it melts together. During busy periods, they pre-make dozens of sandwiches and leave them sitting out for hours, room temperature, no refrigeration, just hope and prayer. But here's the most disturbing confession I received. A former employee worked there for an entire year and never once saw the sandwich press properly cleaned. "We'd scrape off the big chunks," he said, but that was it. That's not maintenance. That's archaeological excavation with a spatula. But there's one menu item that sidesteps all these issues. The farmhouse salad. Potbelly's salads are their redemption story. Fresh greens, real vegetables, and actual cheese, not processed substitutes. The farmhouse salad comes with mixed greens, tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, and real cheddar cheese. Simple ingredients that can't be faked or heavily processed. Ask for grilled chicken if you want protein. It's the only meat they actually cook fresh instead of reheating. Or skip the meat entirely and add avocado and extra cheese. Here's why this works. Salads require fresh ingredients. Wilted lettuce can't hide in a salad like it can in a sandwich. Brown tomatoes are immediately visible. Old cheese looks obviously old. A former employee revealed the truth. Salad ingredients had the highest turnover rate. We couldn't serve brown lettuce in a salad. Customers would see it immediately. Value? Less expensive than most of their toasted sandwiches, and infinitely safer. You're paying less for fresh ingredients instead of reheated mystery meat on dirty equipment. We've just exposed 6 major chains and revealed their hidden gems. But there's one more chain that might surprise you, the final secret that will change how you order at any fast food restaurant. What I'm about to share about chain number 7 will make you question everything you thought you knew about fast food safety. This could save your life. Firehouse Subs built their brand on first responder themes and fully involved flavor, but the only thing fully involved is their commitment to cutting corners. The meat arrives pre-cooked in vacuum-sealed bags, sometimes sitting in storage for weeks. Their signature steaming process often reheats food that's been sitting for hours. One customer posted a photo of their sandwich with visible mold growing on the bread. The store's response? That's just the seasoning blend. Mold is not seasoning. Mold is a health violation with fuzzy consequences. But there's one menu item that actually works: the Firehouse salad. Wait, Firehouse Subs has salads? Yes, and they're hiding in plain sight. Here's why this works. The Firehouse salad uses the same ingredients as their subs, but in a format where nothing can hide. Fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and peppers. Real cheese, not processed cheese product. And if you want protein, ask for grilled chicken. It's the only meat they actually cook fresh. The key is customization. Ask for extra vegetables and light dressing. The Italian dressing is their least processed option. Here's the secret. Salads can't be pre-made and left sitting like their subs. Everything has to be assembled fresh, which means fresher ingredients and cleaner preparation. Value? Less expensive than most of their specialty subs, and infinitely cleaner. You're getting more vegetables, fresher preparation, and real ingredients for less money. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. The safest option at every chain is usually the simplest one. Vegetables can't be faked. Fresh assembly can't be hidden. Real ingredients speak for themselves. If this opened your eyes to what's really happening behind those sneeze guards, annihilate that like button. Subscribe for more food industry secrets they're desperate to hide. And share this with someone who still trusts fast food marketing. Because the difference between a good meal and a disaster is knowing exactly what to ask for.